Okay, we're back on the Real News. Our phone numbers are 704-873-1400. Our Davie County number is 336-499-0681. Again, our website's therealnewsradio.com, and you can email us with suggestions or comments on air at therealnewsradio.com. So I'm going to turn it back over to Brian.
The Gulf of Tonkin incident, which is a name given to two separate incidents involving North Vietnam and the United States in the waters of the Gulf of Tonkin off the coast of Vietnam. On August 2nd, 1964, two American destroyers engaged three Vietnamese torpedo boats, resulting in one of the torpedo boats sinking. 2 days later, we have a phone call.
Hey, are you with us today?
Yes, sir. How you doing, sir?
Doing real good.
Hey, I'd like to commend you on your program. I'm sure you got some more vital information coming up on some of the more of these false flags that's been flying. But I'd like to throw one in. I don't know whether you know about it or not, but as I've been studying my Southern heritage, I realized there was a false flag run up to get that war started in 1861 with Lincoln and the Radical Republicans.
Go ahead and share it with us. I'm not aware of it.
Well, the South pretty much did try to find a peaceful means not to have that conflict. Slavery being a partial issue and not the whole issue, they were willing to gradually do away with that. But the Lincoln administration kept pushing and pushing until they got the war going.
Now, I had heard before.
I'm sure you're aware with Fort Sumter. They agreed to pull out of Fort Sumter and leave it, was the agreement. And then Lincoln continued to send troops to reinforce Fort Sumter.
You know, my dad had told me that the South had agreed to slowly phase out slavery, and apparently that wasn't acceptable to the North. And I'm a firm believer we could have done away with slavery without a civil war. Most other countries was able to do that.
Yes, sir, very much so. And if most people truly know their Southern heritage anyway, most Southerners were poor farmers. It was only the wealthier ones that had slaves anyway. And they bought those from the North. So, I mean, you know, to me, they had ulterior motives to get that war going. And that was total conquest, because they did declare total war on the South.
Let me ask you this while I got you. Had you ever heard of the Operation Northwoods?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm familiar with it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people aren't, and it's just amazing to print that off of the NSA website and see that it's 100% fact. So I'm glad to know there's other people out there that are aware of actually our real past, the real reality of our past.
Yeah, well, you know, it just shows you the blindness of people. They think this country can do no wrong, but the fact of it is, if you study history, you know we've done our share of wrong, and what it's leading us up to is judgment. It looks like.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to add today?
Do what now?
Is there anything else you'd like to add today?
No, sir. Keep up the good work, because I'm sure you're going to draw some heat over this.
Well, I appreciate you calling, and if we do, we'll just let the chips fall where they may.
That's all you can do.
But I certainly do appreciate you calling today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Go ahead, Brian.
On 2 days later, August 4th, 1964, the American destroyer reported a second engagement with North Vietnamese boats. However, this second report was later discovered to be an error. Together, these two instances prompted the first large-scale involvement of U.S. armed forces in Vietnam. The outcome of the incident was the passage by Congress of the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, which granted President Lyndon Johnson the authority to assist any Southeast Asian country whose government was considered to be jeopardized by communist aggression. The resolution served as Johnson's legal justification for escalating American involvement in the Vietnam War. In 2005, an official NSA declassified report revealed that the USS Maddox first fired warning shots on August 2nd, and there may not have been any North Vietnamese boats at the August 4th incident. And again, later on in Vietnam, we lost over 50,000 American lives.
one of the Navy pilots flying overhead that night was Squadron Commander James Stockdale, who gained fame as not only a POW, but he was Ross Perot's vice president candidate. And he stated for the record that he had the best seat in the house to watch, and that our destroyers were just shooting at Phantom jets. There was no PT boats, nothing there but Blackwater and American firepower. And also in 1965, Lyndon Johnson commented that for all he knew, our Navy was shooting at whales. So this is documented false flag event that's admitted to now. The Gulf of Tonkin lie. They were able to get the Congress to pass the Gulf of Tonkin resolution, and as Brian just stated, it led to over 50,000 American deaths, and it was well over 1 million Vietnamese, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Next, we're going to go to Operation Ajax. You can look this up on CIA.gov. One of the most interesting to me, because most people don't have a clue, Mossadegh had been educated in the West. He had driven the communist forces from northern Iran shortly after being elected in 1951. Now, he was democratically elected. I know that's going to shock a lot of you. He nationalized the oil fields and denied British petroleum a monopoly. Again, you can go to CIA.gov and look up Operation Ajax. It's all there. CIA and M16 carried out terror attacks in Iran and blamed them on Mossadegh in Iran. Before Kermit Roosevelt's death in 2000, he went public and admitted they had used propaganda, bribery, false flag events to bomb mosques and etc., and blame it on Mr. Mossadegh. We got a phone